Hello and welcome to the Music Lens podcast with me, Alex Allegra.
And Katie Fee.
We are back at it for week two of the new year. How are we doing? How are we, Katie?
Good.
I forgot this blanket. Oh, whatever. I don't give a fuck.
It is blanket. It's fine. Good. What did I do this week? Had my first write of the year Tuesday night,
Nice.
And then first show of the year Wednesday night.
I also
which
had
you
my
were
first
at.
show of the year. Yeah.
You did your first show on
Monday, yeah.
I was like, I have too much this week. I'm gonna need a night where I don't do anything. So
Yeah, no.
I did not make it to that.
Ouch. That's fine. But yeah, no, we're starting off strong.
Yes.
Getting things done, doing a bunch of recordings for things on my end, so
Yep, and been trying to figure out some cover art for my next thing, and that's a whole process, which maybe I'll talk about more whenever I actually announce stuff. But,
yeah. Asher is here with us. If you see a fuzzy little man, he is getting his bone at the moment. So.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see how much sound is
I don't know
picked
how
up
much
on the
he's in
mics,
it, but I'm babysitting him tonight, so.
Yeah, he doesn't have supervision if we
Lock him
word am I
out.
trying to say? Lock him out. No, there was a different word that was a bigger word, but it's
Uh-oh.
fine. That's the same thing.
But he's being good,
But,
so we're gonna hope it stays.
Let's hope so. Yeah, he's got his bone, so that's good.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh, we jinxed it.
and then he got up. It's fine.
Anywho, before we start on topics today, I wanted to read something that I found on Facebook, actually.
Okay.
It's actually a legit news article, though. I saw someone reposted it, and it's from a Fox News article.
Oh,
But,
okay.
what?
I don't trust Fox.
Well, it's about music in
Okay.
Music City. And it was like, somebody had posted in one of the Nashville groups and was like, Nashville calls itself Music City, but we're pricing out the very people who make it that title.
Yeah.
Months ago, the Park and Play program launched to help musicians with parking, but the reality is a different story. Artists working gigs in Midtown, Mid-Row, and downtown say parking costs are now eating into already thin paychecks, sometimes as much as $20 to $25 a night. For a musician making $100 on a show set or writer's round, that's a quarter of their pay just to park and do their job.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely makes you question whether a gig is worth it, says Dan Harrison, a Nashville musician of 8 years.
I was like, I know who that is. He's not that old.
We call ourselves Music City and pride ourselves on being home for creatives, but we're not making it easy. The Park and Play program offers free parking at select Metropolis-owned lots for union musicians at participating venues, but the reach is narrow. Not every musician is union, and Metropolis isn't the only company managing lots across the city. Meanwhile, paid parking continues to expand. In November, the city approved even more paid parking spots along Music Row, which is one of like the last street parking areas, and it used to be like it's a pretty high retail space. Like the prices to buy anything on that have been very high, and it's unfortunate because there used to be a lot more of a scene down there. I feel like there used to be a lot of restaurants, and like you could kind of like walk it if you didn't have a car from like Belmont and stuff like that and go up and down. But now it's like small publishing things and stuff that used to be down there now can't afford their rent, so now they're trying to move out. And then but also I will say some people are trying to get it back to where all the labels and everything like that are on it. But it just, and there used to be a lot of street parking everywhere, but now they're even trying to pay for that,
Yeah,
which is just ridiculous.
There's a whole petition to sign and stuff about keeping the parking on the street over there like free, and it was like musicians were going around posting this on Facebook and stuff and encouraging people to sign it. I signed it, and I thought they were gonna hold off on it and like take musicians into consideration because of the petition, but then they started to put paid spots, so I don't know.
Because even so, like, that row is like, that's not where you're playing or anything. Like, that's where you're taking meetings and where you're pitching yourself and stuff. So you're not making any money on going down there. So it's like, to even pay for that, it's just Nashville itself, like, even if you're not a musician, has just really, like, they're trying to make every available parking spot a paid parking lot, unless it's like your house, and which most of the time is apartments and street parking anyway. So then you might have to pay for housing parking on top of it. Is like ridiculous. A lot of the places in 12 South, me and my boyfriend went down to go get dinner there, and
Are the street spots paid now
yeah,
too?
or there's side streets on 12th Avenue that used to be like you could find parking there. Now they're having, thank you, Asher, that now they're having parking lots on top of it, because they're now making like 2-story restaurants and all this stuff. So now they have parking lots behind it. But on top of that, some of the streets are permit parking so that the residents can actually park there for free. Some of them are regular non-parking. Thank you, Asher. And then some of them are paid to park.
Yeah.
And it's we were shocked when we saw that those roads were paid to park.
Did you pay to park Wednesday night, or did you find a spot?
I parked at where Nacho Daddy's parking lot is, and I just walked.
Okay.
Because it's only like $7, honestly.
Okay.
We
didn't know how much it was, because Nacho Daddy, if you ever go there, they have QR code for their parking garage, and it's like 2 hours, I think, for free parking. And we knew we were going to be there over 2 hours, so I didn't know what it would be like once the 2 hours were up. So we found parking, I think, on Chad Atkins, which is like maybe a couple streets over, and got like the last spot before the no parking pole.
Yeah.
So.
Which Midtown has always been one of those spots that is hard to get parking. Like, I even used to, when I would go down to Midtown, if I didn't have to drive, I would try to Uber down for like all those bars, and I didn't go a lot.
Yeah.
But like, it was always like a weird parking situation down there. But
yeah, the little alley parking lot that can't think of what it's between now, because things keep changing. But when Whiskey Jam was still at Winners,
yeah,
we parked in that lot that was like a couple spaces down. And
but those
was, like,
lots always
really
used
cheap.
to. But they sketched me out so much. I was afraid people were gonna back into our cars and stuff.
I mean, I never went alone, so.
Anyways,
I always had someone walking with me.
Yeah.
But yeah. I feel like that's always been the thing with those bars in Midtown, is like you would just park closer to Music Row and walk. But if Music Row becomes paid parking, then it's like, great, you have to pay anywhere you're going. And that's annoying, especially if it's a writer's round or even like a showcase like I did. Like, I'm not getting paid for that. And for a showcase, I'm paying the people playing with me. So
Yeah.
it's like another cost on top of it. But yeah, was there more in the article or anything?
Yeah, that was just like the excerpt that somebody had reposted, but I was trying to look in the article to see if there was anything else. Nashville's already dedicated a lot of off-street parking, which is either privately owned with rates that can vary block to block, which is so true, very true, because like even if you go to sometimes like even downtown, it used to be like one lot was $10 and one lot was $30 for an hour. Like it varied so much that like you never knew what you were pulling into, and it was just ridiculous. And then it says, musicians say tourists may expect to pay to park downtown, but artists who are creating the live music that draws visitors should not have to pay just to work. Which, yeah, so that was about it.
I mean, even like non-musicians, anyone who works downtown, I feel like there should be like something where they can get free parking versus like discounted parking, because I know there's discounts for places, but it's never free, unfortunately.
Yeah. The mayor's office told Fox 17 News that the Park and Play program has been successful so far and could expand in the future. Officials say they continue to look for new ways to support musicians and bar staff who help make Nashville a destination city. So, I mean, hopefully that's true, and hopefully it's just a matter of time, but also like the way that the city is expanding is far going to outreach whatever initiatives they put in, unless they like, which, and again, it makes sense that like, oh, if you have your union card and stuff and there's like a scan that you can put on the toll booths that like, oh, but if you're not union, there's plenty. I mean, most of those Nashville musicians aren't.
Okay.
But I think that's all for that. So,
Yeah.
Any other fun news things you have for us, Katie?
It's not a news thing, but just like a random kind of woo-woo thing.
Woo, okay.
Where, like, when you are like just going about life and you're like have deja vu where you think you've been here before and it's like you've dreamt it before, essentially.
Oh, I have a lot of that. Yeah.
It's like premonition type things. So not that feeling, but it reminded me of this when I was driving here, because I drive on Briley, passing the Opry. And I was like, wait a minute, I had some sort of like thing in a dream where it was like a text, and I don't know who the text was from, but it was something about like booking a date or something for the Opry. And I was like, can that be a premonition thing, please, for the future? So I was like, maybe that, because it was just like a little snippet and then like nothing else related dream wise that I can remember. And usually that's how those things go, where you only remember a little bit of it. So yeah, that's just a little woo-woo thing where I'm like, okay, we're gonna manifest. That's the thing in the future.
Okay, then.
I guess going into our topic then, if that's all we have for pre-topic stuff. All right, so I think this is gonna be considered part of our artist inventory series, right?
Yes.
For this one. So going back into kind of giving you some educational information for things that are helpful for your career. We've touched on it a bit in, I think, how to book your own tour episode, and then I want to say maybe you had some of it in like a branding episode type thing about EPKs.
I was like, I feel like we mentioned it so much in like passings of things that I thought we had done a whole episode on this.
Yeah,
but
I scrolled through all of our episodes just to see, and yeah, so I don't think we've done a whole EPK or I know we haven't done a whole EPK episode, and I don't think we've gone into it too much on the ones that we have mentioned it on. So figured we can go more in depth and do like a whole episode dedicated to it, so that way if any of y'all are like trying to find an episode about a specific topic, then you can narrow down your search that way, I guess. Or if you listen to the, again, I don't know if you did it on the branding one, but for sure the how to build a tour one had stuff about the EPK, since you send that when you're trying to book shows. So if you listen to that and you're wanting more information, then hopefully you found this episode and you can get the information you want. So I think we all probably know this, but just to cover basics, what's an EPK? An EPK, or electronic press kit, is a digital package showcasing who you are as an artist and your brand. And it's basically like a resume that you send out to get attention of, mainly it's used for like sending out to venues or promoters or the media. So for shows or for getting press for yourself for music releases is the main thing I think of. But sometimes maybe you have other stuff you're trying to get press for. I think you can also use it for like record labels and agents and stuff if you're working with communicating, trying to get a deal.
yeah,
If you have contacts that are like, oh yeah, send me what you have, they might ask for an EPK to kind of get an idea of who you are and what your music is all about and all that stuff.
yeah.
So basically, we're just going to go through like all the things to include and like give you more details about each section that you should have, and then as well as how to format the EPK. So first off, biography, and this isn't in the order necessarily that you want to put them in, but this is just kind of the order my brain thought of the topics. So
Well, how do you have yours? Because mine's a tab on my website that I have. So
yeah,
it's
okay,
like,
maybe we want to jump down to the formatting before we even say what to include.
yeah, because I was like, it's not just like a list. It looks
Right.
like a resume, but on a website. But it's
Yeah.
like designed. It's
So, like,
nice
yeah.
and presentable.
I know you can do it a number of ways. So like you could do like a PDF, like make it in Canva, something that you can like attach to an email, but
Yeah.
also you can do it as a website or just like a page on your website. And I personally like to have mine with a password on it, just because if you're putting any unreleased music and stuff on there, then that way it's private for only having like industry eyes on it, because like I don't mind if I'm trying to get a gig and people can listen to the song before it's released. Or
Right.
obviously if you're trying to line up press and stuff for a music release, they might want to listen to it ahead of time to decide if they want to do press on
Right.
it, or do like a premiere and stuff like that, because sometimes you'll get like a music premiere article for the music. Another thing to keep in mind with it is having like your branding colors and fonts, and making sure that the formatting of it lines with your brand too, and not just kind of like black and white or whatever. Like make sure it all kind of encompasses who you are as an artist. And also on mine, I have like introducing Katie Fee and then a picture before it goes into like all the like sections.
Okay.
So mine's a little, I don't remember if that's just like the template I used on Bandzoogle told me to do that, but I kind of like having that as like a introductory like header before getting into the details.
Yeah, I have mine as like there's a small gallery on one column, and then next to it is my biography. So
Okay. Yeah, mine is kind of just like all like stacked, I guess.
yeah.
Instead of having columns side by side for things, it's just you scroll to whatever section that you're trying to look for. After my introducing in the picture, and then I have my music, and then my social links, and then the bio, videos, gallery, which is the pictures of cover art and promo pictures, and then press.
Yours is a lot more
Shows.
detailed than mine. Mine is very much like a one sheet. I make
Yeah,
it.
you could do one sheets too. And some people might ask for a one sheet, so that's another thing that we could look into at some point. But I was just kind of trying to focus only on the EPK.
Yeah.
Then after shows, I have like a form for contacting. And then I also have my email listed on the bottom of that form for people who prefer that. So, which I'll get into more when we get to that section of the sections. But yeah, that's kind of how mine's formatted. I honestly I think I had bio first until I was doing the research for this, and then I was like, actually it does make more sense to put the music first, because that's your core, like that's the whole point.
Yeah.
So I was like, maybe I should move that one up. So there's not technically a right or wrong way to do it. I feel like there's definitely things that make sense to be first, and like a bio makes sense too. So that's why I was like, I originally had it that way, and I feel like either one are probably good options for the first thing.
Yeah. I know another thing that we don't have on ours is awards and things of that nature too are
Yeah.
also going to go on it.
I have stuff in my bio, but not like a list of things, because sometimes people do like a list of like notable venues they've played or notable artists they've opened for, and then streaming numbers or awards, which I just feel like I don't have enough to make that look good.
It's like one of those things, like on a resume, they're like, don't put your GPA unless it's like a 4.0 kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's how it feels like, unless like you're racking in like millions and billions of views and stuff, it feels like you're calling out to the fact that you haven't hit certain milestones, and like I'd rather not get questioned on it, so it's like kind of avoid it.
Yeah. But yeah, if we want to go into each section, biography is the first one I have listed, just in order of talking. We already, provide background on your story, who you are, and some of your accomplishments in a few paragraphs. And I just have the longer version of my bio in mine, but it's good to have a couple different length bios available for whoever's like looking at this as well. So if you don't include different ones in the EPK, just have like a long and a short one on hand. So if they need a shorter one, you have it that you can just send if they ask for it.
Yeah. I also have all of mine, like those kinds of things downloadable, because this is for industry people, and if you're booking things, it's a packaging that they are allowed to, that it's like, don't put every photo you've ever taken, put the professional ones that you want promoted, that you're okay if somebody took. This is all stuff that as much as it is for like everything about you, and it's the it's all this stuff, it's also the thing that they are going to take and then can put out for you. Like if you're getting booked for something, it's the bio that they're going to use. It's the photos that they're going to use. It's also information building. And that's why Katie had said that sometimes it's for songs and new songs and stuff like that, but that's the stuff that they're not going to. That's why you have some different ones sometimes that you send out, and each one has its own purpose, because sometimes, like if you're sending out to a venue and they want to promote you, they're not going to take you don't want them to take the song that hasn't been released yet as promo for your things. So making sure that you have the right one in use for what purposes you're taking it for. So
so just kind of like a layout of how to do a bio. This is kind of the more long bio, but obviously you wouldn't include all of this on the shorter version. But you would want to start with an engaging yet concise intro. So think about your elevator pitch and how you'd most effectively describe yourself and your music in like only a few seconds worth of talking, but obviously typed out version. And then include any relevant background information, including musical history, again, keeping it short. And then a brief description of your musical style / most significant influences, which helps inspire people reading your bio to also listen to your music. Because if you're throwing your influences on there, like, oh, like influenced by Lainey Wilson, they might be like, okay, well, I like Lainey Wilson, so I might like her music. Let's listen to it, kind of thing. I lost my place. Mention anything you're currently working on, whether that be a new single, album, going on a tour, etc. And then outline career highlights, like we said. Make a list of your achievements, then pick 2 or 3 of the most impressive ones to include in the bio, because again, we're trying to keep it concise, so we don't want to just like have a whole thing in there. And if you have a lot, then that would be a good time to like have that section in your EPK. But if you only have a couple to begin with, then just keeping them in the bio, you can still have them somewhere in the EPK without having just like a tiny list of them.
I usually try to make my first paragraph like 3 sentences that I can copy and paste, and that's normally like the elevator pitch or whatever, that it's like, give me a couple sentences that I can promote you with, and that's normally what that first paragraph is for me, and I just copy and paste and it's ready to go.
And with the career highlights too, you want to make sure that at least one is a recent one, so that way you're showing that your career is active and that you're constantly doing things, consistently doing things. And stick to the facts. Don't embellish these things. Like, don't make it sound better than it is. And then another thing that you can have in here.
Don't put things that, like, if a quick Google search of you comes up, that they can easily say that's not true.
Add quotes from the media, something that describes your sound, talent, or latest project. These quotes lend authority to your bio, and you can also link to a full review if available, just to have someone else's outside opinion of you. And like it says, it lends authority to the bio.
It's the testimonies, it's the customer reviews. If you go onto a website and Yelp and all that stuff, that you are getting people's other opinions of what is going on with them. It's the same thing for an artist.
And then just a couple other helpful bio writing tips is to write it in the third person, because that sounds more professional than writing it just first person. Remember to check your grammar and spelling, and that's important throughout the whole EPK, is to make sure everything's formatted and spelled and all that stuff correctly. Sometimes technology is weird, so checking that the formatting doesn't look weird when it's on the, like, not public, but like on the final end of it versus the editing end. Sometimes things look weird on the final end that don't look weird on the editing, so going back and forth and checking that. And then also keeping your information up to date with any new projects, releases, tours, etc., and just making sure you're refreshing it regularly. And I think this kind of, again, is showing that you are active in your career and you're not just like, oh, she hasn't done anything in a couple years, because this says stuff about releasing music in 2023. So that's that for the bio. links to socials. So you want to include links to all your social media profiles so the person you're sending the EPK to can check out your online presence. Main ones would be TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. You can do X. I don't know how important X is anymore, but I have it even though I don't really post on it, so it's
I have never
there.
made a Twitter account in all of my years of
Yeah,
doing music.
X,
I've
Twitter,
never,
yeah.
and even with my brands that I manage, I tell them it's not worth it. Just delete it. You're not doing anything on it. Like,
Yeah. I have like one guy who does like playlists and stuff, and he'll tag me on it for when he adds me when I have new music. So that's about the most I've really done with it. I used to put my New Music Friday posts on there, was like the only post I would make, but I would forget that that was somewhere to post. So it wasn't consistent. But I do update it every time I have new music. I still update like the profile picture, cover art, and bio. So there's that, but then posting wise, there's like nothing.
yeah.
And you want to make sure these are hyperlinks as opposed to like having the link visible because it just looks cleaner if you can just like click on either like the word Instagram or a lot of places you can hyperlink to an icon, which looks even more clean.
And make sure they work
And
before
make
you
sure they
send
work.
everything
Yes,
out.
double check all your links to make sure they are working right. And it's you want to make it just overall with your EPK, you want to make it as easy as possible for the person that it's getting sent to. Like if they're gonna click on a link and it doesn't work, they're probably just gonna give up and move on to the next person because they have a lot of people sending them stuff.
Right.
And also links to music or a music playlist is the next thing, kind of goes with the links to socials for the music part or links and music part. Obviously, it's the most important part of the EPK because that's what you're promoting. So include links to your streaming platforms. At minimum, I would say Spotify and Apple Music, and you can just put them in the same section as your social links and have like all the icons in a row or however your design is. But I feel like it's also best to include like some sort of playlist where you can play the track directly in the EPK if possible, because that way you can share the unreleased tracks. But it also guarantees the viewer has a way to listen to the music because I don't know if they've changed this now. I feel like I saw a Spotify thing about like the free account you can directly play songs now, but sometimes if you go to play a song, it will like play it on a shuffle thing and won't let you just go directly to it.
Yeah.
So if the person doesn't have a Spotify account and that's the only link you're sending out, they might not be able to access it. And then again, they'll give up, go to the next person.
And that's why I pay more for my website, but I embed every song into it. And I pick like my top like 3 songs. I don't put
Yeah.
everything, which I don't even have a lot of songs released, but somebody like Katie who has multiple EPs
Right.
and stuff, I get like my top, like a song that I'm like really proud of lyrically, a song that's doing the best on all of my platforms, and
Yeah.
then like like be strategic in which ones you're
Right.
picking, but like I would put like your top ones that like are doing something. And then like some of them like specific writers rounds and stuff, I put the ones that I like am proud of musically, like
Right.
to get their attention. So
I think another alternative would be SoundCloud and do a private SoundCloud playlist
Yes.
because pretty sure everyone should be able to access that easily.
yeah.
So that's that for the links and the music and all that. And then professional photos slash cover art for music because it's important to have the professional photos and cover art for like promoting stuff of like you mentioned earlier, like they're gonna grab these photos for any like if they're doing like a venue is doing a promo of the show, they're gonna grab pictures from this to use for that. Or if press is talking about your latest single, they're gonna need the cover art to include in their article. So it's best to have everything accessible for them, just like all like in one place.
Yeah.
So you want to include like headshots, promo shots, performance photography would be good as well. Just so there's plenty of options for the promoter, venue, press to utilize for whatever scenario that they are using them for. Just give lots of options. And then videos, so links to YouTube videos or having said videos embedded into the EPK is also necessary, especially if you're using it for booking gigs. And you can also use your latest music video in this section, but like I would say the most important part is having that live performance video, because that's giving the booker an idea of if they're going to book you for a performance, this is what it's going to look like.
Yeah.
And it's good to make sure you have quality audio and live performance videos if possible. That's currently what I want to get figured out, because I know mine are like okay, but not the best, just because you obviously want to try and have videos where you can hear the vocals really well, since that's probably the main thing they're going to be listening to is you singing the songs.
Yeah.
And they need to be able to hear the lyrics and stuff to judge if they like the song too. And sometimes just like the sound of the performance in the room, the mix isn't the best. So if you have the capability to get quality audio, like get the mix from the board and put it on the video after the fact and get it mixed well, like that's what I am hoping to get done at some point here. But I feel like that's gonna set you up for more success in booking stuff with full band, especially. If you're trying to just do acoustic stuff and have like a performance of you just with your guitar, then like I feel like that's probably gonna be easier to get. Just
It's like you can get very good
writer's
quality writers round videos, exactly,
Yeah.
of like you playing guitar. And sometimes venues want to see both, because
Yeah.
it depends if they want to put you on a bigger stage, or like if they can see that, oh, she can play guitar and sing
Right.
it just fine, like we can have her do this thing instead. So
Yeah.
I try to have both,
Yeah,
so that
I only have my full band stuff on there right now, but I probably should find a good one for acoustic as well.
sometimes people just want to see that you can actually play the instruments you claim to play. So.
That's fair. Yeah. Another thing is press coverage. So include any press coverage that you've received in the past. This could be music reviews, interviews, etc. I tend to type out like the article titles and hyperlink them to the actual article, but you can also do like a snippet of an interview from a podcast, radio station, news station appearance there too, like embed the video. I had that at one point, but they're from 2021, so they are no longer on there because that was just too long ago, where I don't think it's relevant at this point.
Yeah. My problem with my press right now is I need to actively do a lot more press for this next round of things, but I just feel like it's a lot of introductory kind of articles, and so it kind of repeats itself, and so I'm like, but then I only have like 2 articles, so I'm like, okay, I need more. And
Right. Yeah, most of mine are just like I said, the title of the article and then the link on there, but I also do have one that's like the quote of the article and then still linked to the full article, but I think it's nice to kind of throw some quotes on there too, for them to just like read little snippets without having to read the full article.
Smart. I
They
didn't
don't
think
need
to do that. That's actually really smart. Yeah.
Because I'm not going to read the quote on here, but Music City Melodies is really nice to me and have a really nice quote about my last album. So I was like, I'm going to keep that on there. But once I get more press for like current music, probably we'll have to take that one off, because it is getting, that was a couple years ago now. So there is that. So that's it for press. Show calendar is good to have on there of any upcoming shows that you have. So that press can potentially include those in the article. I know that like with Radio Sobro, whenever they've done like me on New Music Friday and stuff like that, if I have that information like publicly available, they'll tend to be like, oh, she's playing Nashville Tour Stop next week or something like that. So I'm pretty sure they grabbed that from the website. And then also, like, if a promoter's wanting to see you perform live before deciding to book you, then they know where they can go to see you play. And it also just shows that you're actively playing shows, because I feel like some bookers might want to make sure that you're playing actively and not just like, oh, I book you and this is going to be like your only show.
Well, and sometimes it's a matter of, I've had shows where it's like they want to see that you're not playing within like a 30-mile radius of your show, or like a week and the week before and the week after, so that you are actively promoting their show and that it's not conflicting with their turnout. So
yeah, I had a place a couple years ago in Spearfish, South Dakota that was like, are you playing anywhere else in Spearfish? Because my worry is you're going to be like playing in too many places close by and people aren't going to want to come to this one because they already went to another and all that. I was like, I'm going to Keystone and Deadwood, but not Spearfish. So like in the area, but also like 40 plus minutes away.
yeah, which I understand, but also sometimes that's hard in a city like Nashville, where like you're trying to book so many in like a weekend, so that like either there's different opportunities for everyone to come to, or you're really going to promote the one, and maybe like the others just happen to get booked weeks or months beforehand, and like you know that those ones will already have a turnout that you don't need to worry about specifically for. So I have my pros and cons to that approach, but I understand.
Yeah, because I know there's like places where if you book, they make you sign a contract that you're not going to be playing any shows within like 30 days.
Yeah, I've had to do that before.
In that radius and stuff, so.
And again, that's just tough when you're playing in Nashville and some of the stuff that you're like playing is bars downtown, but you're not like playing for the same purpose. So
yeah, I know someone who like had that situation of a contract and then they got booked for a writer's round last minute, so they just didn't promote the writer's round to like hope that they wouldn't be breaching it. So, which I don't think the venue ever found out or anything, so I guess I don't know
if we should be airing people's stuff.
Well, I'm not saying names or venue names, so I think we're fine. I know. But like, yeah, I know that people have done that, but like, I've yet to have any type of contract like that.
No, I've had a couple with some of the bigger showcases around here.
Okay. Like they didn't even do that for the Cobra show of
that's
making
surprising.
me like sign anything. So
yeah.
Which I feel like you would have had to sign too if they did.
Yeah.
So
no, I've had it for some showcases that are really like trying to get off the ground here in Nashville and are like trying to actively like sell tickets for a show. There's been a couple, but yeah.
Last part is just contact form and details. So you want to make sure you provide a way to contact you in the EPK. Even if you're like emailing this to them, it's just good to have that as well. So you can put a form in there for them to fill out with their name, email, and the message, but it's also good, like I said earlier, have an email address that they can contact. Because I know if I'm researching venues that I want to play, if they have a form versus an email, I'm always like, I don't like this as much. So I try and find
I love
an
the
email.
forms. I find the forms are easier when I have like 3 different emails that I use, and
the forms don't let you do your links and things like that though.
Oh yeah, that's fair. I always just link it anyways, and I'm like, hopefully they just copy and
especially
paste
like if it won't let you like do hyperlinks, because then it looks messy. I don't like that. So I prefer to email, and then I can have because my EPK is hyperlinked in the email of like, here's an EPK so you can see all my stuff or whatever wording I have.
Then you kind of know that you're sending it to an actual computer instead of just like into the void of Formland too. Because sometimes, depending on their website setups, they can like have it go directly to an email, or it can stay like on the website's forums. And so sometimes things get missed, I feel like. But
yeah, so it's good to have both because people have different preferences. But that way they have different ways of getting a hold of you. I mean, it's up to you if you want to do like a phone number situation, but I just personally don't want that. So I just have email. And also if you are at a point where you have like a team and stuff, like you might have different types of emails and stuff, because some people will have a different contact for press versus booking and all that. So you can put all those details in one section to make it nice and easy for them to know who to contact about what.
Yeah.
But yeah. that is all I
Well,
have.
this was helpful. I need to update mine anyways, and this gave me a whole bunch of like, oh, that's smart. Oh, I like how Katie did that. So I'm like, now I'm gonna go and update mine. So I hope you guys also enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And got some info.
Yeah, and if you have questions, if there's any specific part you're wondering more about or anything like that, you can email those to us at themusiclenspodcast@gmail.com or drop a comment on the YouTube or the socials for this episode. Those are going to be at the Music Lens Podcast on all of our socials. And you can follow Alex at Alex Allegra Music, keep up with her and any new music that might be coming sooner or later. Same with me at Katie Fee Music. I also have stuff that I got to figure out, but hopefully we'll announce sooner than later. And we will see you next time.
Bye.